Chapter 1 Hate Speech Dragon. Fentanyl made in China. Fuck China. Chinese made fentanyl has killed more crackers in this country than Lena Dunham kicking it with Taylor Swift on Instagram. Stay at home comedian. It's hard to feel like a man going places when you're a stay at home dad, especially when your wife's smartphone sends her an alert after you make another questionable purchase. Wife calls, "Hey babe, so how is Bride of Chucky? Happy baby theory." My dad says, "My grandson is one happy kid." I say, "Funnier dad, happier baby." He's also got more muscle memory to flex from than a young Leo on the set of Growing Pains with Alan Thicke. What the hell is attachment parenting, dude? It's turning your bed into a 24/7 open milk bar for the foreseeable future, which isn't the biggest deal in the world, knowing your sweaty sex period with your girlfriend, now wife, only lasts 1 month max anyway. When your bang bang bed actually elevates, defying all laws of gravity, considering your perpetual poundage of her snugger snatch of yesteryear. Can I get a holler for a mouthful of hilarity? For not holding back one bit for material you're never going to hear from edgeless Jim Gaffigan. Holla! Thank you very much! Post fake news. Read all about it. The New York Times, post fake news, says full-time working parents today are more actively engaged with their children and spend more time teaching them than stay-at-home mothers did in the 1970s. So, stay-at-home mothers during the 70s slept on the job after being slipped too many Quaaludes while dreaming of Bill Cosby's family-friendly dentist drilling material? I don't get it. Also, I don't want Seinfeld smirking for at least a year until he convinces us how he was clueless about Cosby being a rapist for 4 decades straight. Where were your powers of observation then, Jerry? Triggering fake feminists. Whenever I'm out in public with my 3 kids without my wife, grown men say to me, "You've got your hands full." I say, if any of my 3 books become bestsellers before I die, resulting in my wife agreeing to an open marriage with Katy Perry, then my hands will be full. Should stay-at-home moms get paid? If you can afford to be a stay-at-home mom and your husband doesn't bust your balls about it because he's allowed to live his life to the fullest while you don't have to penny pinch at the farmer's market, then keep your white privilege issues to yourself, girlfriend. Should stay-at-home moms get paid? But I thought women loved the divine gift of raising superior versions of themselves, planned or not, because of do-it-all dads molding on top. I don't think stay-at-home dads should get paid, but I'm not a fake feminist either. Can I get a holla for preaching the fearless gospel a long time? Holla! Thank you very much! Amy Winehouse lives. Has Minnesota Rep Babyface Omar acknowledged the anniversary of Amy Winehouse's death as something happened to a horn-hiding Benjamin lover who exploited the great Palestinian songbook for all it was worth? Hate is underrated. Hate is good because it motivates you to seek out places where your presence is valued and appreciated, like at a Trump rally, behind your wife's back to make your sex life above average again. Put my man meat in, Indiana MILF. I'm ready to play. Can I get a holla for John Cougar Mellencamp, the poor man's Bruce Springsteen? Holla! Hate speech police. Did you know you could be fined $250,000 for using dehumanizing language on an illegal alien in New York City, like no speak English? Who's translating these insults for one exactly? Now an illegal immigrant in New York City gets a driver's license to vote and a hate speech translator to bankrupt Apu at a bodega in Flushing. The globalist team. Did you see Ellen chilling with W at the Cowboys game last year? Ellen claims they're actually friends. What do they share in common, besides being pro-Bush? Yenta Breath Country. Seinfeld just auctioned off one of his Porsches for charity. I hope half those proceeds went to Larry's kids. Curb your enthusiasm for Joe, Larry. Larry David tells the New York Times Trump doesn't have one redeeming quality, but at least Stalin had one. Like what, Larry? Bernie's porno reading wing at Queens College on Stalin, Marx, and Che Guevara? Bernie Bros before Indigo Girls Hose. The serious Seinfeld writer, former Seinfeld writer Larry Charles, is encouraging the left to arm themselves. Arm themselves against who? MS-13 gangbanger extras in the Fox lot being used for the remake of American Me? Guilty of white Peloton privilege. If I have to hear one more time from my son, what can I do after mommy has failed to engage him for more than a whopping 40 minutes? I'm moving to Utah to become a Peloton instructor to stay extra fit for pleasing my 5 wives, who will keep my kids occupied while I write my next hit novel, Do It All Dad Does Mormons in the process. Can I get a holla for this brief moment in time, seriously contemplating abandoning my Jewish identity altogether just so I could please 5 wives in the process and write another hit book? Doesn't sound so bad. But then I'd have to abandon my 3 kids, who are my biggest fans in the universe, so I'll have to pass. But it makes a great joke. Holla! Thank you very much! The tumbling tower of truth. Without counsel, plans are frustrated, King Solomon? You mean like not asking my mother if it's kosher to make fun of Chris Matthews on my blog? Or Doodle Dad your podcast for sexually harassing a new intern at MSNBC? Like the time he said, eating out unibrow Maddow counts as your lunch break, babe. Death of due process. Are dudes in college today accused of aggressive dry humping? Can you get suspended for being charged with aggressive dry humping without due process of any kind? If so, I'm for the female accuser having to look her assaulter's fleshy head wound in the face to see who the real victim is in this case. Semi-automatic love. Today for homeschooling, I helped my son start write a story using the Pixar story mapping method that went like this. Once upon a time, there was a soldier named Gung Ho. Every day, he'd get a new gun because he'd always lose the last. One day, he found all his missing guns. Because of that, he threw them all away except one. Because of that, he started talking to his lone gun until finally, Gung Ho married his gun. I had my son name his story Semi-Automatic Love. Can I get a holla for a school assignment story to get my kid suspended from kindergarten for causing more social unrest than I ever did on Twitter, for insisting China resisted coronavirus investigations more than Aquafresh? Holla! Thank you very much! Cooling on the Knicks' ex-golden child. I don't like Jeremy Lin anymore because he's a fake news Christian. If he was so concerned with spreading the light, then take a stand and don't play for the Beijing Ducks asshole. I'm positive LeVar Ball could start his new tweener league with Lin as the semi-deplorable star in J.R. Smith's eyes. It's not as if Jeremy Lin is hurting for cash. I'm also calling Jeremy Lin a fake news Christian because claiming you wanted to play for the Knicks after Lin's sanity, no matter what, is bullshit because I wouldn't after J.R. Smith bitched about the golden child hogging the bike lane all for himself. Look, Jeremy Lin is a fake news Christian unless he asks Jesus for forgiveness for calling Landry Fields a Stanford grad. Jared Jeffries, a cross-eyed hick who played for Indiana, and Steve Novak, another Midwest kid from Wisconsin who wasn't a founding member of the Onion, as hilarious. All right, the championship belt thing was funny the first time Novak did it. The PR director for the Cavs insisting J.R. Smith start conducting his post-game interviews off his hoverboard because he's high enough already is hilarious. I can't let it go. And I mean no disrespect, but Jeremy Lin is a fake news Christian using the word passion to describe Spike Lee during his interview with Steve Serby. Passionate about portraying old Jews as soulless, predatory, money-grubbing heaves in every single one of his films. Fine, I'll grant you that much sanity. At least Jeremy Lin didn't go out of his way to call the communist ruling party in China some very fine people. But what really burned me about Jeremy Lin's interview with the New York Post, besides the lack of provocative questions such as, so if all the woke Harvard Lampoon alum ruined late-night comedy in your eyes, or care to comment on the Asian American community losing their lawsuit against Harvard University for penalizing academic excellence by handing out school slots to lesser deserving students like hotcakes because Michelle Obama isn't proud of her country yet? Or Jeremy, how do you feel about learning your former alma mater gave Lolita Island owning Jeffrey Epstein his own private office with a private pedo landline after he gave the school a cool $10 million to keep those records sealed. Epstein was already a convicted underage sex offender at this point, but giving him his own private, untraceable Lolita line at Harvard to scout new virgin trim to break in because they had their heads too buried in their books to come up for air until freshman orientation sounds kosher, don't you think, Lynn? Plus, do you really believe Obama is a baller at basketball, knowing he rode the bench at an all-Asian private school in Hawaii? Last, do you think NBC's heart was really into replacing Jay Leno with Conan O'Brien permanently in the first place, knowing Conan was a tad too eccentric nerdy compared to Johnny Carson for the Tonight Show's taste? Do you think Conan being demoted to TBS makes him feel like a resounding winner inside who came out on top knowing NBC is just fake news, bullshit in bed with China now, like the rest, TNT included?